on the count of 3. I'm not going to start with Ben's head. It's just looking so weird. That would be slightly off-putting, I have to say. Hello and welcome to Tales and Troubles, episode 10. It's actually episode 11, but I don't count the Before They Were Famous episode. We are here about to start our 12th level. You guys are. Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition actual play game set in the County of Circazar in the Kingdom of Pythia. I'm joined by Martin. I'm also joined by Josh.
Hello.
And the real beard.
That's actually a little scary.
That's it was that.
I missed it. I keep missing it every time you do that.
You have to watch it. You don't just have to watch the episode now.
Yeah,
well, anyway.
That party trick is what got Diego Teff, as it happens. But there you have it. So yes, episode 10. I'm going to do my usual stuff. We do stream Waterdeep Dragon Heist game, Dragon Heist-ish, I guess, which we play every Tuesday. The next one of those is the 12th, 5th.
Next Tuesday.
This coming Tuesday, yeah. And that'll be available on Twitch, and sometime soon after that, it'll be on YouTube. We are a little bit behind on our YouTube stuff.
You missed a good one, Ben.
Yeah, we have Joe who's joined us as well. So we're 6 players in that game. 5 players? Yeah, 5 players.
And we're very consistent with our half elves.
yes. But there we have it. And you can follow more content at Mostly Off Topic on Twitter, mostly-offtopic.com. You can email us at mostlyoftopic@gmail.com, and Facebook, Mostly Off Topic, just search us. And on YouTube, Mostly Off Topic, where all of our content lives, apart from the stuff that lives elsewhere, I guess. So some of our content lives in those places. Anyway, so what happened last week? Last week was a last session, which was 3 weeks ago. Was a total humdinger. It was fantastic. The tension in the room at the end was palpable, and has led to a deterioration in the weather in the UK, directly caused as that storm has moved ever southwards to envelope us in misery. Because what happened was the characters succeeded in their goal. And I don't know, that upset some people. What can I say? What was their goal? I hear nobody ask. And their goal was to defend the village that was within the kingdom of the county of Circazar from a set of brigands. These brigands, powered by dark magics, had been going around turning other villagers into ghouls. Bad. Led by Commander Breakbones in vampiric form, and also influenced by Valindra's Shadowmantle, quite possibly. So they fought a valiant battle against the forces, the bandits, the brigands, the ghouls, the flesh golems, powered by some kind of like crystals that were regenerating them, which Darion may inform you at some point is Thayan. I think Thayan or Kalashite technology, Thayan technology, from the Golem Works over in Eltabar is the working assumption. And there was a cleric of Bane, who for some reason Darion didn't like, and he got away, which for some reason Darion liked even less, though definitely marginally less than Martin liked.
I definitely wouldn't say there was a Baneite cleric. I mean, there is. He's still around.
He's hanging out. He's hanging out on street corners, ordering hot dogs, chatting to red hats and stuff.
He could have fallen out of the sky and broken his neck, for all you know.
Because there were also demons or devils or fiends. Oh my! There some fiendish influence. But they left their bodies behind when they were slain, which was always a bit weird. That's not normal. Fiends normally form in their home plane, is what you are given to understand. But there we go. Also, having listened to the recording, which isn't actually publicly released yet, but having listened to the recording, one of the things that Darion says is, Aserorak got away. No, he fell into a pit of fucking lava. if that's getting away, then I don't know what is. But there we have it. Okay. So, that's kind of early spring in 1492, they're reckoning. And then the bombshell was dropped as Diego kind of arose from his rest the next morning. He received a letter from Dunlo informing him of his mother's death.
And you asked why everything was so tense.
I know.
It was tense before then, I think you'll find.
I mean,
It was tense before then, and then that just made it tense. There was a slight retcon to that discussion at the end where Tef wishes you Godspeed. What she actually says as she leans in and whispers to you, she says, "You must go to Waterdeep, Diego. I'll tell the people what they need to know." And she leans in a bit closer and she whispers, "And I am pregnant. I think with twins." And she turns.
She's wrong. It's called topless.
And she turns and walks back into the mess, the kind of food hall that's been hastily erected for the troops there, and says,
Diego's life does not feel any better.
the Count has had urgent news that he must attend to. And you head off north to Saradouche.
Which one? So much important news.
Yeah. The news of your mother's death is what she's referring to. And there we have it. That's kind of where we're going to do. And now, so the construction of this session is going to be a little bit different than our usual construct, in that we're going to be following the story of each of our three participants, almost in a solo game. Dun dun dun. Dungeons and Dragons is normally a troop game, and we're going to go and break conventions. So if you're not happy about this, you could drop an email to Wizards of the Coast, and they'll get in their police car and they'll drive around and they'll tell me off for playing Dungeons and Dragons in a way that I shouldn't be doing, possibly. But whatever. So we're going to start in the story of Darion, as it happens, because Martin, you don't want to live to last. You always leave me to last. So we're going to start there.
Okay.
That's a pretty good impression.
It was uncanny, wasn't it? If you close your eyes, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
You listen to the recorded back, not
like,
the audio version of it.
Yeah. So Darion did in fact return to Castle Ilkazar, having kind of so the group then went off into the base of the Bandits and the Brigands, and you kind of found various information. Did I just put that on the forum, or did we talk that through? I can't remember.
You put it on the forum, but I don't think you said it publicly.
Aha! In that case, then let us do that, because I can't remember what the hell happens. Yes. So following the Battle of Terrasodia, Darion's simmering anger, combined with Diego's semi-unexplained haste to ride back to Saradouche, casts a long shadow over the aftermath of the battle. What should be a celebration feels more like a badly fought draw for members of the company. Until, that is, the laughs of children playing, their mothers and fathers tickling them in the sheer joy of being alive, plays through the village. It's hard to ignore the memories of their parallels, lying in the cold dark with black opals covering their eyes, making their slow journey into undeath. Through your actions, your heroism, the villagers insist, they are able to enjoy the spring morning as the sun burns the haze away. The forest gnomes that trudged from the edge of the forest of Mia show their heroism in the frankly ineffective weapons and armour they were willing to wield. The Oxborn, the Dragonborn, are like, what the fucking hell is this? You came here armed with a fountain pen. do you realise the pen is not mightier than the sword? They brought piss to a shit fight. Is exactly exactly the way it went. Some of the gnomes' hands are still shaking at the thought of a battle that no one asked them to fight. The human communities on the edge of the forest have, well, let's call it history of an unpleasant tone with the not human community in the forest. Why did you come to our aid? Asked the slightly shamed village headman. Inaction would make us evil's allies, is the translated reply. You don't overcome centuries of prejudice in one action, no matter how heroic, but you do plant the seed of understanding. Whether it is tendered and germinated, or left to wither, well, that is another choice. The brigand's hold yields a trove of information, even if several of your number lose their lives in exploring it. The brigands did not leave it untrapped. The Church of Bane is heavily implicated, not just from its place within the Protectorate, but clearly somewhere in the upper echelons of the nobility of the county also. Pseudonyms, codenames, nothing legally actionable, but perhaps with investigation and careful thought, a list of possible candidates supporting the brigands could be established. This leadership provides money and arms, and talk of their ability to seize the leadership of the county itself. More harrowing is details of the priestly ritual that allows them to animate large numbers of undead. The ritual takes multiple cycles of saloon, but is obscene in its threat. Breakbones is the top of the pyramid and makes no bones about it. If the letters are to be believed, he leads a force of vampire warriors gifted by Valinda from the Red Wizards, and they have a base near the rising moon in the Omladrin Mountains. No one in your company knows of this rising moon. Breakbone's vision is clear: to recreate the situation of Earl Khazar and Saradouche. You quickly learn that until recently, Earl Khazar lived an eternal night under the iron fist of vampire overlords, with suspicion that itself was a puppet of Thay. Of the third base, you learn nothing, except that it is ready in case the final resolution is required. The nature of the golems is less clear. There are no notes on their creation beyond instructions written in the Tongan alphabet of Kalam Sham, indecipherable to your company at the hold. Oh, and in what looks to be the main quarters, behind a well-concealed panel in the wall no less, lay confirmation of multiple contracts for assassination issued. A single contract each for Diego, the puppet of the Lord's Alliance. Darion, hard to reach, strike when he is abroad. He writes to Darren more often. Apraxin, we do not need him looking in the right places. Ox, beware bear traps, that is how Bacon Hunts fell. And 3 for Danilo, we've not managed yet. Seeing your names there and the high prices placed against you sends a shiver down your spine.
I'm really worried for Apraxin now. I forgot that he was people on the list.
Where is Apraxin, just out of interest? I think he was left. Yeah, left back in Saradouche.
I put in my downtime. I'm spending time with him.
We're getting distracted now. Hello, penguin.
Just chilling out together.
Yeah, we'll get distracted. Are you coming in?
Ox arrives and finds his lifeless corpse.
There is no lifeless corpse because Ox is there.
Yeah, that.
Whose assassination contract tickets the most, do you think?
Sorry? Oh, are we gonna...
Who's worth more?
Guys.
Dunno, I'd say. It's worth the most.
It's probably Dunno, yeah.
Well, it's free on him.
Also, that does say something for, like, the person hiring the contracts. They actually really want to know out there as well.
Yeah, we're scared of him.
We are gonna be...
The Queen, could be the Queen.
Yeah.
Oh my god, she's the Chief Baneite. That's why she's making promises on me all the time.
That's right, that's exactly it. Alright, I'm just killing time because I think he's going to come in. Yeah, we're just getting this
Queen of
Jam
the
Jam
Masquerade's
song.
actually the hero, trying
yeah.
to liberate Tethir.
Yeah, we're the villains.
Yeah.
All these assassination contracts are in Zook's handwriting.
He's never been able to...
leaves!
Yeah.
He's never been able to spell Darion.
Yeah.
Just beware badgers with funny eyes. That's all they're saying.
Yeah, I totally didn't think I was going first because I think he originally said Diego was going to be first.
You got your downtime
Sorry.
in first, though,
I
so
did get my downtime in first, but I was like, okay, it's definitely good not to end on a funeral.
We are quite possibly going to get disturbed when he comes back. Okay, yes. So, Darion.
Oh,
So that was what happened last time. So, Darion, you've been having a conversation with the Vindicator.
mm-hmm.
Vindicator is the leader of the Order of the Gauntlet in this area. And he is a pretty reasonable, kind of like thoughtful, intelligent, well-spoken, balanced individual.
Yeah, seems pretty chill so far.
Yeah, he says he's very conscious of all the responsibilities. So whilst he will seek to help and mentor, he's not going to do your job for you, by and large. And he spoke to you about kind of what's been happening in the Protectorate and his responsibilities there. You learned that he sought to block the allowing of the Baynites to operate in public in the Senate, but wasn't able to. So what he's doing now is protecting the Order's legal rights over the area that they have some responsibility for within the Protectorate. And he said that he thinks that the crystals and constructs were Fathian magics. He surmises that they perhaps brought by Shadow Mantle, that the Golems would have come from the Golem Works of Eltabar, which is the capital of Thay.
Mm.
So he reckons that they're few in number.
Yeah. They're definitely a cut above your normal flesh golem,
Yes. Their ability to regenerate their flesh through the lightning method, which is bound within them, is troublesome. Okay. So it's moving in the spring, and you have what do you decide to do? So you've dispatched troops to strengthen the border with the Protectorate,
Mm-hmm.
kind of really closing down on the quite porous border that there is in your region. You've sent reports back through to the Queen and to the important people within Tethia, informed the Kalashites of the activities and such like. There's a steady correspondence now between the Kalashite captain, who's responsible for the northern perimeter, which adjuts to Circazar, and yourselves, all very formal, all very kind of above board, but the sharing information route is there, and the Queen is much more informal, kind of much more pleased and kind of personal in the messages back through to you. And you're trying to gather information through the Harpers on Baynite activity, focusing upon kind of who may be this noble that's supporting them, possibly.
Yeah, I was just trying to identify people and things they were doing.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So which one of what do you want to? Where do you want to start in your vignette? It's going to take time for the kind of the Harpers to find information and to be able to bring it to you.
Yeah, so we had two things we wanted to cover during this live session. Yeah, let's do the Vindicator / Breakbonesy thing first.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that will take time. So that's going to be reliant upon the Harpers coming back with information and such like. So the conversation with the Vindicator are following through in a very similar kind of nature as to before. He's a reasonable individual. He's very open about the fact that the Church considers his views heretical, but he he demonstrates on many occasions the fact that he has clerical magics and therefore must be in good standing with Torm. Is the view. So I think it would be better to do the behind the mask first, because that'll be able to happen in chronological order.
Okay, let's do that then. Beneath the mask.
Yep. Okay. So do you want to describe to me what you're going to do?
Right. So Darren's goal here is, I think I'm gonna pick a secure room in kind of, you know how we had those chambers for prisoners.
Cells.
Yes, that's the one. So gonna make my way down to the cell. There's gonna be. I was
horse.
Thinking...
Gregor.
I mean, if you know, if he wants to come down, then he could feel free. But I was wanting. Would it be possible to secure 2 of the clerics in the castle? Am I right in saying clerical magic can do dispel magic?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
Right. So I was wondering if I could secure 2 clerics. I'm going to take all my bodyguards, some additional people. I'm not going to be wearing heavy armor. Shock. I'm also.
Who
not
are
gonna
you?
I'm also not going to take my weapon. I'm not going to take my weapons. And I was thinking, would there be some kind of like, was there an interview table when we interviewed that prisoner last time? Like kind of a.
Not especially, but you can get a table. That's not going to be an issue.
But with shackles on it.
With shackles on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get blacksmiths to knock that up.
Okay. And I want a mirror. And yeah, so the plan is to use the mask, and hopefully nothing horrible like psychic damage.
So when you say the
Possession of-
mask, what do you mean by the mask?
I mean the mask we got in the Feywild way back when.
So one of the masquerade masks that were, at least one of them's in possession of Ox as well, if I recall. Or did Ox give one to you as well?
I gave it to the Queen.
Queen Estethia.
Yeah, I don't know if she gave us it back.
Okay. No, she hasn't given it you back. Okay. So this is a kind of masquerade mask. It covers the eyes, comes a little bit over the nose, and it is looks quite fragile, and you know that it's enchanted. It's at least able to sending spells, and you also know that it was created on the prime material plane, but not this prime material plane. Though I'm not convinced that Darion would particularly understand what that may or may not mean. People have tried to slowly explain it to you and then walk away in frustration. I think. So let me get this right. So you've got all your bodyguards, you've got 2 clerics who you're told to load up on dispel magic, and you're shackling yourself to the
Table
desk,
in case I'm
to the table,
possessed.
in case you're
Yeah.
possessed. Okay, cool.
And the mirror's going to be there so I can attempt to cast the spell magic. Hopefully, because I can see the mask. Are you gonna? Would that be okay?
Well, you can see the mask because you're wearing the fucking thing.
Oh yeah, that's
would be the way I would use it. And you don't have to. You have to see it. It's not a requirement of dispel magic that you can see it. You choose one creature, object, or magical effect within range.
Oh, okay, that's fine then.
Okay. You put the mask on. It's primarily orange and yellow and gold in its coloration. And it feels cold against your skin. Nothing quite happens.
This is where I don't have any experience use magical device. So it works like a sending stone. Presumably I'd be attuned to it by now because I spent so much time with it. I am going to say the Queen of the Masquerade. Let's see what happens.
So you kind of like pause and think and feel slightly, yeah, shit. What do I do now? It's like jumping into a car and then, how do you drive again?
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's more like a phone with a bear trap attached to it, and I'm just surprised the bear trap didn't go off.
Is everyone just stood watching you?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
They're in the height of anticipation. And the mask feels cool, and then it starts to get a bit warmer.
Okay.
But you don't get any kind of response from it particularly. You feel liquid dripping down from the edge of your eye.
Ugh.
Okay. And what do I see in the mirror? And when I feel...
You feel liquid dripping down from the edge of your eye. Transparent liquid. Kind of like water.
Right, no blood then.
I don't know. I mean, blood is only red because of the hemoglobin cells in it, so it could just be plasma, I guess. But no. It's just water, you think. And then you feel it kind of trickling down again as well on the other side, and then kind of like gathering around your forehead. And your feet now feel a little bit wet.
Okay.
Your feet feel a little bit wet. And your fingers start to feel a little bit cold.
Okay.
And you can hear birdsong. And the room's dark, though it's softly lit by the stars above you, twinkling away as they do. Not constellations that you can recognise. And also, there's at least 3, maybe 4 floors between you and the night sky. And in fact, it's not the fucking night. And you're also certainly not in a forest.
No, what, sorry?
Not in a forest.
Okay.
You shake your head to try to dispel this, but no. And dew settles upon you. And there's a few leaves now stuck to your shoulders. And a soft voice comes back out of that kind of like dense area of the forest that you're now surrounded by. Darion. It's a lovely voice.
Okay, I look at the character.
It reminds you of your mother. Darion. My goodness me. To what do I owe this honour?
Are you who I think you are?
Yes, of course I am.
I came to gain an insight into what your intentions were for Tathir. I didn't expect such a warm welcome.
Well, we're here now. I'm not one to just give my insight for free, though.
Of course.
You're just talking. There's no object to fixate upon. It's a little bit disconcerting. It's like being on a conference call, in fact.
I'm impressed that you knew of me right away.
The mortal that thwarted Asarorak's plans. One of the mortals that thwarted Asarorak's plans. Your name has resonated through all of the multiverse.
And you're not a fan of that gentleman,
Which gentleman?
Asarak. Sasarak.
He is tangential to me, but he's powerful. Oh, and but I wonder who would trade to know of your location. So nice of you to contact me.
I'm sure he could have figured it out by himself if he really, really wanted to.
Perhaps.
So, what kind of trade are we talking about here?
I don't know.
Jesus, this is more awkward than terrifying. I just wish to know what your intentions are with. Is it business with the Queen? Is it business with Tethir? I want to gain a better grasp on you.
Many mortals have tried to get a better grasp on me. Is there any particular part of me that you wish to get a better grasp on? I'm no longer subject to the ravages of time. I can be as fresh as you wish. Or perhaps you're one of those. Perhaps you would prefer a sag. In the physical form I choose to take.
Well, as tempting as that sounds, I was wanting to gain an insight into your intentions, your mind. You're a long-lived, powerful individual.
And what are you willing to offer me?
Well, the last dealings with fey creatures kind of eludes me. Things to trade seem to never.
You remember the last time they wanted to trade something?
Yeah, but I'm not going to explicitly say that because we murdered some of those people. I mean, I'm sure she knows. But...
I'm very aware the Redcaps have sworn murder upon you and your companions.
Yeah.
It's hard to stay their hand when they're aroused.
We've become aware of them as well.
I don't know if we're just like having a dramatic pause or whether we lost someone. No, you're back. So I ask you again, Darion, Cursebreaker, Smith.
I'm not entirely sure what fey creatures like to trade for such information.
But what are you willing to give to me then? Let us start there.
I have to say, I was not prepared for this. I was more expecting you to attack me in some form. No, I don't want to trade that.
Darren. Diego's firstborn, done! have them delivered to the Woodland Grove at midnight. Cheers, bye.
This is where Darion falls, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, what ultimately?
It's the first step. It's the first step, isn't it? It's definitely the first step.
But if you were expecting to be attacked, why did you leave your weapons behind?
I mean, there's not much I can do over ascending. Stone is there.
In fairness, he has got all 5 bodyguards with him. 2 clerics and a partridge in a pear tree.
I've been told the light in my eyes is attractive.
It is. It is.
She'll make you blind.
Are you offering me the light in your eyes in exchange for finding out my intention towards the kingdom of Tethia?
I am not sure. I don't know if that would leave me blind. Or leave me without the ability to contact the divine.
Without a soul.
I could tell you, but it would be another gift.
How about some bug spray?
How about some what?
Some bug spray.
Bug
Still
spray.
carrying that from Shaw.
I've got a rather attractive diamond.
I have no need for diamonds.
I didn't think so.
I think he means his penis.
I'm not going to go sloppy seconds to a half orc.
Oh,
Darion is the sloppy second.
burned.
I mean, okay, voices who
Your bodyguard's having a right laugh, it seems.
Yeah.
If we can make a fair trade, I'll sweeten the deal and provide you with some information of some other entities' intent towards the kingdom of Tethia. And even more so, I will provide you with some other entities' intent towards the kingdom of Tethia at this point in your time.
What would you ask of me?
What is it that you're willing to give to me?
Shagger.
Shagger, chieftain of the...
Shagger, son of Dolph.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's bad that I remember that. I was I was honestly expecting something far more hostile. It doesn't seem like your intentions towards me are terribly ill at the moment.
You'll be dead in 50, 60, 70 years. What are you? What are you to me?
A pleasure toy.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Says Bodyguard 3.
Yeah. That is frozen.
Oh no.
I'm offering a 2-for-1 deal here, Darion.
Faster broadband.
I can give you 33.6k. That's how she sounds. It's like you've dialed a fax machine. For our younger viewers, ask your granddad.
I don't believe I have anything I would be willing to offer would be valuable enough to you at the moment.
Your consideration of value is not my consideration of value. You've spoken about the light within your eyes. How many other traders in your little village of Ilkazar are going to want the light in your eyes? Even if you were to go to the city of Daramar, even if you were to go to Kalimport or Waterdeep, you would find no trade for the light in your eyes there. Your consideration of value and my consideration of value are two substantially different things. Make me an offer, Darion Cursebreaker.
She sounds aggressive.
Make me an offer.
I
am waiting for you. And I can wait for that 50 or 60 or 70 years that it takes soul will cross over into a different realm, and I will wait for you there.
Okay.
Done, dear.
I am the Queen of the Masquerade.
I may contact you at a later date. As you say, our values towards these goods are vastly different.
I await your contact. Just place the mask upon your brow, and I will hold those red caps at bay for a little while longer.
Mm.
Thank you. Your
That
Majesty.
one is for free. Sleep well, Darion Cursebreaker. No, hold that, Sir Arak. I'll be right through. Can you knock him back a couple of hours? She doesn't. Sorry. She doesn't do that.
That's Siri.
You pull the mask off, and it's kind of like dripping with dew and partially mingled with your sweat. The cleric race over to you, going to check up on you. Martian Killeen looks you straight in the eyes. How did that go?
Better than expected, but it was rather confusing.
Tell me of it, or perhaps in private.
And I don't see any reason to hide what's happened here from these men. And I'll basically just explain that I went there to kind of gauge a reaction and see what I could find out about the Queen of the Masquerade. Not an awful lot, other than she doesn't seem to be gunning for me at the moment. I'm still not sure about the intentions towards the Queen and Tethia, or maybe it's just exclusively the Queen. And that she offered me a deal for information on people who move against us. I'm not quite certain of the details and how dangerous this would be.
We trust in you, Darion, they say. But if there is knowledge of enemies that can move against us, what price did she ask for this information?
She mentioned the light in my eyes.
That might leave you blind, one of the clerics says.
To be honest, that
Who
was my
clearly
first
is
thought
from the Dales. That'll leave you blind.
too.
Don't know is out.
Yes, I'm unsure of what that would entail.
Oh, she is an enigmatic creature from beyond the veil.
I'm gonna have to rent a book called Fey Deals and find them and have a good read.
Yeah, okay. Oakley Dokley. Okay, do you at any point in the rest of the spring intend to put that mask back on and contact her?
At any point in the future?
In the spring.
Not in spring.
Okay, cool. It lies wherever you place it, and every so often kind of dew gathers around it, irrespective of the time or irrespective of the weather. And it kind of like beads, and if you pick it up, you'll feel the kind of scent of fresh pine forest. You often leave it in the privies to just to kind of take the edge off after a really big steak meal or something like that. Okay, so there we have it. The patrols on the borders have really clamped down now. Has the added bonus of forcing some of the smugglers' operations down, and you have been getting a steady supply of And the first time that this is reported, you're called in person to kind of go and visit this very small hamlet, off into the kind of... It's not really mountains, it's more hills. They're not so rough that they're like kind of snow-capped, jagged peaks. It's more kind of like hills with nooks and crannies and valleys in their vales. And it's a cart that was bringing in ostensibly courgettes from the Protectorate of Mintar, but it had a false bottom, your classic false bottom underneath, and there were 4 zombies in the zombies in the bottom of it, all of them with blue triangles on their head. And this turns out not to be the first of a source of illicit cargo that is attempting to come in, primarily across that border, the Protectorate of Mintar. There are, you think, probably around the mid-30s zombies that you have been able to seize, all of them with the blue mark, blue triangle kind of on their head. They're not apparently kind of animated at the moment. They're almost like held in a bit of stasis.
Yeah.
Or what do you intend to do with them?
Well, we're definitely going to question whether we're going to get delivered. But as far as the zombies go, I will ask White Hawk Colleen for advice, and I'm thinking, would the 1 or 2 be of use for any sort of study or identification? But I really want to burn them.
They must be destroyed.
Yeah,
it would be an affront to the souls of the bodies that have been captured here. We must release them.
Purge them with fire?
Yep, they get purged, and steadily, kind of like through the spring, maybe every 5 days, a couple of times a week, you are uncovering a import of zombies, and universally the kind of the people that are bringing them in immediately declare that they didn't know what goods they were carrying, and they typically know that they're carrying illicit goods, but sorry.
Do they? Under a zone of truth.
Under zone of truth, they know they're carrying illicit goods, but they don't know the nature of the goods. They're pretty genuine about that. All that they were told to do was essentially said the false panel just drops and it's self-contained, almost like coffins, and they were told to go and bury them at certain locations throughout the county.
So
shallow graves, kind of just bury them and then just move on, kind of thing. So it's not like deliver them to Baddy McBad, number 1 Bad Street, Evil Town, or anything like that. It's kind of spread throughout and around and about.
Okay, that is worrying. That's more worrying that they're not going to one place.
And there haven't been very many attacks. There's been no attacks until probably halfway through the spring, and then a couple of flurries of attacks, and they all follow very similar profile. They mounted creatures. The mounts have flaming hooves, appear out of nowhere, ravage a population centre, usually a village, completely slaughter, drain the blood from the residents, and then fuck off into the night, largely before anybody can kind of get there. And it's usually the next day or the next few days, what have you, when somebody has business there, they kind of head out there and find this kind of out. There are some witnesses that manage to escape, and through their ravings, that's what you find. And clearly Breakbones is one of those, and is in charge of that.
And that's to the north of my border control, is that correct?
Yes. Usually kind of primarily in the north of the county, in the north. The Vindicator, a couple of weeks after the first of those attacks, has got news that he believes that he knows the source, or at least one of the sources of the zombies that are coming through.
Okay.
It lives within the authority of the Order of Gauntlet within the Protectorate of Mintar. So his kind of his sources there have been able to pin it down a little bit, and he raises a force that he will include you in to go and go and battle and to kind of understand what's happening there. It's a fortified warehouse on the edge of one of the larger. It's not really a town, one of the larger kind of country villages. And we're not gonna work through this combat in game, but
zombies.
Sorry.
I'd flatten zombies
but it's not actually zombies that's the main problem. So the Vindicator leads the force, and he leads it very capably. He's clearly a proven leader in the field. He is not wearing heavy armor. He's wearing light armor. But he kind of goes to town. Clear demonstrations of clerical spells and so on. And he leads from the front. There's a fiend there that manages to escape as you primarily are starting to kind of go to town on it. You smited a table, you smited the door, you smited the barrel that was looking at you funny, but you still managed to have a high level smite for the door frame. You're going all ox on this since he's not there, and the fiend just disappears, boom, like that.
After the first hit, or do I not get a hit in?
No, you get a couple of hits in as it's kind of like feels like it's weakened. It kind of flees. And then in the tidy up, the Vindicator says, kind of looking at one of the structures. He kind of goes over to it and runs his hand along and puts it's like an interior door within the warehouse. Darion, see these sigils. And you can see very faintly, and to your eye, it looks as if it's just part of the wood, part of the grain of the wood. There is a gate here. It's unclear where it goes to. Faerun is riddled with gates. There are very many of them. It is not uncommon for them to require a key, an action, a phrase, or an object that will trigger them. I would imagine that this gate connects to somewhere that is providing the zombies.
Would it be worth dispelling?
They are permanent. We can try to dismantle it, but that may or may not work. We can set up a guard here. I think the best thing to do is to destroy the structure, and then we'll create hallowed ground here.
I agree.
Actually, he decides to stay. He's clearly got problems in this part of the Protectorate if it's been used as a forward base. And as you return to the Castle Ilkazar, you're approached by Martian Killeen. We've not been able to locate Breakbone's location, and we haven't had any indication that he's in league with the Protectorate specifically. But our Harper allies believe we know which of the nobles of the county is in league with the Church of Bane. We have sworn testimony to one of the noble's household who reports the presence of a shrine of Bane on the noble's lands. Not his primary residence, but one of his residences. What should we do?
And it's just one noble we have the name of so far.
Just the one noble. And I guess strictly speaking, it is the noble's residence. Though you would expect that he wouldn't be able to he must know what happens within his homestead, surely.
I'm not that well versed in nobles, and I'm not sure how well they know what goes on in their holiday homes. It's out of interest. Was any of the reports of the bearing of illicit zombies There's a phrase.
Especially licit zombies.
Smuggled zombies. Were any of them supposed to be buried close to this noble's home or the place where the Bane shrine is?
Oh, so the shrine is in the noble's home, one of the residences. We'll establish that. The Martian doesn't know off the top of his head.
Right.
It's Lord Dawnstar, Pedro Manuel de Ate de Estrella de Amanhecia, is the noble in question.
Right.
Lord Dawnstar. Pedro Manuel de Ate de Estrella de Amanhecia. Nobody says, because it's just too much of a fucking mouthful.
You just looked in the Xanathar's guide and just gone through every single Spanish name.
I actually think that's an actual name that I've just ripped off like some historical nobles list somewhere.
But you didn't type in the noble list and bring up that website from before, did you?
No.
What, Donster?
No. Remember that one he did for bandits, like crazy
Oh.
stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Tavernoda.
There's definitely something afoot here.
Do we attack? Do we put them into surveillance? How would you wish to do this?
I wouldn't wish to attack. I like to gain more information before. Well, it's true there may be a Bane shrine in there. Do we know? Is it in their personal quarters?
No, it's hidden within the grounds.
So it could potentially be someone working there who's trying to assassinate the man?
Possibly.
Let's gather more information before we make a move.
Of course. I will see if one of the Harper agents can infiltrate as a
Any more news from
servant.
the Harpers? While you're here, did they appreciate our actions at the border, and do they have any more goals that they wish to complete?
They did appreciate our actions, and I shall speak with them about their goals. It is through demonstrating our commitment to the people of Tethia that they were willing to put themselves at risks to establish this information. Whilst it's not yet true that many Harpers died to bring us these plans,
No.
that may well be something in our near future.
No.
What are you going, no for?
Mm-hmm.
Just that's not a thing I'd be overly happy about.
It's either Harpers or Bothans. I mean, you take your spear.
It's
Yeah.
tearing you up for I have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah.
Darion has a bad feeling about everything. I don't think you guys have realised.
That's no shrine. That's a small temple. It's too big to be a small temple. That kind
I
of thing.
think you find this temple is fully operational.
Darion jumps down from
it's
the
a trap.
rafters.
And
Darion
you're-
jumps down from the rafters. Hello there.
And your faith in your mercenary friends is yours. I've paid them twice as much.
So this point we find out Darion has a twin sister.
Yeah.
So what you're telling me right now, guys, is when we're fighting breakbones, I have to get the high ground.
Take an inspiration that you can only use if you got the high ground. I'm serious. Yeah, you've got a high ground inspiration, which you can have in addition to your kind of like any ground inspiration.
Right. I'll have to tell him he underestimates my DM then.
Yeah. He'll be like, "What? You direct messaging? You're." I don't know. What is this thing? Okay. Right. So it's 9:30. So that'd be after 9. Okay.
I think that's basically my downtime actions resolved, unless you have anything extra.
No. So what we'll do is we'll tee up for the end. So the Harpers invest investigate a little bit more, and they established that there is definitely an active cell of Bane. It's led by a fair power cleric, and they believe that the cleric has connections to Breakbones because of conversations that they've overheard where Breakbones has been referred to. They don't have any evidence or any kind of information that the noble is definitely implicated. He very rarely goes to this location. It's been maybe once in the time that they've been observing it. And whilst he went into the place where the shrine was, he wasn't there for that long. But his reputation is to be kind of nasty, petulant. The people who are his tenant farmers and such like always get the kind of wrong end of judgments, and he really is quite malicious and capricious in some ways, and he definitely wants people to know he's a noble and he has certain rights and you have to do what he says. So the kind of tyranny of Bane comes out in his character, but even the Harpers themselves would say that there's not masses that they could do about that. But you established that there's probably around about 15 well-trained mercenaries that follow Bane as some of their main tenants, and there are a lot more, but less than 100 in their cell, spread throughout Saradouche, who have sympathy at least to Bane. Maybe lay members of the church or what have you. So there is an active, but you don't quite know what kind of levels of positions of influence that they may or may not be in. So you've got a core you've got at least one cleric of Bane who's reasonably powerful, who has some relationship with Breakbones. You've got a kind of deployable force of around about 15, and then you've got a kind of the base of the pyramid of people who, at the very least, you can imagine would be able to be blackmailed into doing whatever, but you don't really know whereabouts they are. And it's definitely happening on Lord Dawnstar's patch, but you don't know whether he is in on it, been bullied into it, doesn't know about it, some version of it all.
Okay. I think I know what to do. Well, what I want to do then.
Okay, cool. Well, let's leave that kind of like there, and let us go over to. Do we want to end on the tragic story?
No, let's have a happy ending with kobolds.
Of how Ox gets eaten by a load of kobolds, or do we want to? Do we want to go to the celebration of Diego's mother's life, which is an uplifting experience?
Well, we've not really spoken much about Diego's mother.
No, we haven't. No. Let's do the Count himself.
Yes.
Okay.
Lord Diego Darkblade, Count of Saradouche, High Mayor of Count of Circazar, High Mayor
Middle
of
name yet to
Saradouche.
be determined.
Middle name YTD. YTBD. Yibt. Son of Jehovah. Stone him. Okay, so Diego. Not only has your mother died, in circumstances yet to be known, but you have just been told by your wife that she is pregnant, possibly with twins.
Diego's having a complete overload.
She didn't pick the best time to give you that information.
Like, now would be a good time for a panic attack, I feel.
Yeah, okay. Let's have a dex save to see if you fall off your horse. I'm only joking. It's inevitable. You fall off your horse as you break your ankle.
13.
Yeah. Your horse tramples all over you. Start making death saves.
Break some bones, just to be ironic.
Oh yeah, break bones. You command some break bones. Break his arm. I am Commander Break Bones.
You notice that the horse has got like a It's like soldered into it of the Church of Bane.
Try. Yeah.
Been branded.
It's Regog, who's the opposite of Gregor.
Yeah.
Breakbones' horse, Regog.
Oh, surely that would annoy Breakbones even more if I had his.
Yeah, okay, so you're riding north. You're riding north. North is the direction you're riding.
Saradouche.
Yes.
Is Tef willing to, for moral support, come with me to Waterdeep?
She will do, but she's dealing with the situation in the village first.
Cool.
You get to Saradouche. It's a couple of days ride, and you ride hard, so you kind of like ride through the night. You're absolutely knackered as you get in. It's early morning, kind of 5 a.m. You're almost incognito as you kind of go through. The early morning light catches and reflects off the red-capped mushrooms that are like a lawn off the some of the abandoned places. So they're really spreading really thickly this year. Actually, you kind of notice in the back of your head, you're thinking this is possibly a bad thing, but you kind of ride onto the central square where there is the crate around the equine statue. That is the statue of Darion, not Darion, Danilo of Waterdeep, the shame of Sir Khazar, as he's known. And up towards the castle, your men immediately recognise who you are. The Count is back. A squire comes, grabs your horse. You kind of come off. Food is brought out of the kitchens as you kind of walk in through. Where are you going to go to?
Obviously, Praxin first.
Okay, so you head across to where you would imagine he would be.
Uh-oh.
Off in his quarters or Chancellery kind of thing. He's not in his quarters. You're told that he has already risen about an hour or so ago.
He's left about 10 mistresses in his quarters.
It's like some kind of sultan's harem.
Yeah.
And
I put my head in, they all swoon. I'm like, I don't have time for this.
I know. And he left about an hour ago, so about 3 yards down the corridor, you catch up with him. My lord, how went the battle? He says.
My lord.
My lord, I tell you what, I bet your battle went better than my back.
Lord! How?
A battle's like a beautiful woman. You got to win them.
Winning a battle is a lot like making love to a beautiful woman.
You've got to suck them in, and then you've got to pencil them. I have no experience of making love to a beautiful woman. I mean, they've all been munters, frankly.
So the goal is to last as long as possible and survive.
Stab them with your mighty sword.
Leave as little on the battlefield as you can. Anyway. Okay. How went the battle, my lord?
Praxin will be away for a few days. There's been some bad news. Nothing for you to worry about, of course.
He's starting to worry. When everybody says there's been some bad news, you don't need to worry about it. They immediately start worrying.
It's a personal matter, not a matter of state.
Where will you be, my lord?
I'll be in Waterdeep for Praxin.
Of course.
I've had some bad news.
I'm able to help you. I remember when my first wife found out about the mistress. That was some bad news. Oh, I understand, my lord.
Would you be willing to hold the fort for now, for the next few days?
Yeah, of course, my lord. Of course. Few days, you say?
Few days.
Okay, my lord. Well, I'll get. Okay, I'll sort business. All right, 2 seconds. Hello. Good night, handsome. What you doing?
Syrup waffle, guys.
I thought it was a biscuit. I remember wanting a biscuit.
Yeah,
Syrup waffles.
I want some biscuits. A waffle with syrup in the middle.
Yeah, syrup
A
waffle.
stroop waffle. How Dutch!
I suspected he would be coming back because I didn't want to say goodnight. Okay. Okay, my lord. Okay.
What's happened to your voice, Praxi? You've gone Yorkshire.
I'm just
Are you
reminiscing.
quite well?
I'm reminiscing about my time in Dales. Also, the Dungeon Master can't remember what actions he does for anybody, and it's just making it up as he goes along. Yep. Okay. As Praxton kind of like leaves you, Danilo steps from out of the darkness of the corridor.
I'm not surprised in this. In fact, would I be surprised like this?
Make a perception roll against his stealth. I actually have I've got a D20 here.
He's stealthing up here.
18.
Well, he rolled an 18 on the dice. You are
Well, I
surprised.
met it.
Oh no, because he has some stealth. He steps out of the shadows. You're like, oh, immediately whirl around. Nephew, he says. It's really weird because you see these white circles but can't see in his shark eyes.
Yeah.
In the pale light of the morning, he does look a little bit drawn.
You will.
No, nephew. I did not anticipate this turn of events. We must go to Waterdeep.
Do we know how far there is?
No. And that is a concern also. It seems that a number of those that were faithful to the Darkblade name have been dismissed from our service.
Who?
Are you asking me who is faithful to the Darkblade name?
No, who's been disbanded?
A number of those servants that
Like
have
the
been with
butler.
us.
Oh, we've had the butler in our family for generations.
A
Remember
number.
that cute maid that you always liked?
My nanny.
Let us return to Waterdeep and find out what the situation is. Your father is behaving a little erratically, and he needs to be brought under control.
And we'll need to see my sister too.
Indeed. I am given to understand that your mother's circumstances are above board in terms of what caused her passing. But we can afford... She died peacefully in a sleep of internal injuries sustained from some ravaging disease that she had. We should be able to afford the best of clerical magic. I'm given to understand that a cleric of Timor and a cleric of Eldath were called, but that they agreed that it would be impossible to reverse. Now that is a muted sneeze, everyone. It's impossible to reverse because the soul desired to pass beyond this world. Could you tell your companion Darion to shut the fuck up? Come, I have arranged passage. Since I am not allowed through the rest of the kingdom of Tethia, we will have to take an alternative route.
If there was anyone that knew an alternative route, Uncle, it sure would be you.
Come, I have horses ready. Gather your things, whatever you need. I understand that the Praxton will be in charge.
I've already made arrangements.
Good. Good. Has Tefaneka told you?
One thing at a time, Uncle. One thing at a time.
Or two, perhaps. But let us go.
Ha! Ha! Ha!
He leads you through corridors of the castle that you have not been through, or down, or around, or over, or under, or along the side of, in all your boots.
Or wandering free.
Yeah. And you're kind of taken out to a small courtyard. There are two fine horses there. He leads them over. He kind of puts his hand against the wall, pushes to the right, and an opening appears in the wall. He just walks straight through it, and then it kind of does a similar thing, and it closes back behind him. Come ride. You ride for about an hour or two to a wooded kind of
glade.
copse, wooded glade, within which there is a smallish building, kind of like a log cabin. Tethers the horses, steps inside. You step inside. It's homely. He kind of gets a glass of wine for you. It's reasonable quality wine. You may hear things in Waterdeep that you wish that you didn't know. Some of those things may be about me. If you have questions and you want to know the truth, you ask them of me. Do not believe all that people say. There are agendas in play. Our goal,
let's just save time on call. Tell me now.
our goal is protection of the Darkblade name. I feel that there is a threat to us, and I know not from where it comes. But while we're there, we might as well conduct business. There is going to be a council of the Lord's Alliance. We were going to send representation, but we will send ourselves. Drink up. You open the door straight into the Darkblade stables. Your two horses are just stabled there. And he walks through. The groom is like, but knows better than to question Donolo Darkblade. You follow along. The groom knows better than to question people who are with Donolo Darkblade. And very quickly you're back into the swing of Waterdeep. People are surprised that you're back. Your father is unwilling to see you. He says that his grief is too great.
Mm-hmm.
The whole household is somber. It's definitely missing your mother's touch, a little bit of lightness that she brought to the place. Nobody's surprised to see Donolo. It seems that he is here more frequently than you would have necessarily thought.
Of course he is.
He doesn't want his homeland to forget who holds the reins. Your father also tries not to have audience with Donolo. That lasts for a fraction of a second. When quite unwittingly your father is granted audience by Donolo, in a complete reverse of the normal order of noble households. And you don't hear your father much, but you definitely hear Donolo's anger. It's such a powerful voice that he carries with him. It starts restrained, but the passion that Donolo has, and this is really the only thing you ever see him massively passionate about, is the risk and the threat that it places to the Darkblade name. And he really screams at your father. Your father comes out in tears and races off to his own quarters. Donolo slams the door behind, and the whole wing
Plaster falls from the roof.
Basically,
from
the whole wing just gets evacuated of servants who kind of know
a large crack down the entire house.
What's better for them. So you get to kind of, you more or less, it's a bit weird. You kind of like, you're almost an ornament in your own home, kind of.
It's very much a feeling of like you don't know what to do with yourself, almost. But Diego will say harden his heart. Where is his sister Esperanza in all this?
Okay, so you find her in her suite, crying.
Mm.
Make an investigation check. Actually, now I think about it. Let's have an investigation check. Dun 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 dun. Investigation check. Dun 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 dun.
15.
15. Esperanza is wearing some absolutely beautiful jewelry, and she is dressed in. She's always been reasonably well dressed, but the quality of her clothing is one thing. How that colours and the tones and such like suit her and her shape and so on. She is so much better now. She's got a lovely emerald number on that kind of downplays where she's a little bit podgy, and kind of up places where she's a little bit more ample, and she looks absolutely stunning in a way that you've never ever kind of like seen before.
As I eat this phallic food.
The Darkblades are if anything, we are masters of.
Oh. Diego. She's a
Sister.
Her eyes are red rimmed with tears. Sorry. I'm not really. Diego, and she comes over and she hugs you. Make a perception check.
Oh, that's nice. 22.
She smells like Milady de Winter. Her perfume is definitely that of Milady de Winter.
I take a sniff of the air and like, where did you get that scent?
Father's advisor gave it to me.
No.
I'm trying so hard not to seethe. His advisor?
Yes. Just before Mother died.
Oh my god!
Somewhere Darren's like, I sense a disturbance in the force.
It's like the intrigue got down up to 11. No, this intrigue goes up to 11. Why don't you make 10 more intriguing? Well, this intrigue goes up to 11.
Out of a possible 5.
Stepmom de Winter.
Fuck off.
Find that advisor.
Have you been reading my notes, Ox? She bought me this dress. She had it fitted for me, and she gave me this jewellery. I'll make a further perception check.
Fuck, I took rogue bullshit. That is a 15.
There's a rather stunning pearl that is the centerpiece of her necklace.
Of course it is.
Oh my god!
When I wear it, it makes me. I feel so great, but then I feel so guilty thinking of Mum.
in that hug, I would just like to hand it off her.
Okay.
That is a 15.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Yep. You kind of give her a hug. You kind of like
Yeah.
put her in close. Kind of like take it, pocket it.
Yeah. I say to her,
Make a further perception check.
"Ooh, well, that's good."
There is a masquerade mask on the top of one of her dresses that looks very much like a Milady de Winter mask.
It's 21.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
sure mask.
I'll turn to my sister.
You see a mirror in the back wall. It's a new mirror. Or at
Yeah.
least it's new to...
But it's very similar. Yeah. I said to her, De Winter is a snake.
She's been lovely to
She's-
me.
She is poison.
She's
all
been
that she
lovely to me,
touches,
Diego.
all that she touches is a plague upon this land. And before my day is done, I will smite this woman, this bitch, down like a paladin's sword. She is not welcome in my county, and she is certainly not welcome in my home.
But she's been so good to Dad as well.
Oh, well, I didn't think you could make this work.
This is brilliant.
Oh.
Oh god, I wish I'd taken Darion with me.
Because then I'd have somebody who could kill her.
Yeah.
Darion, you've got one job.
Yeah. I take the mask and I throw it at the mirror.
And it smashes
Rage.
it. Yeah, okay. The mask smashes against the mirror.
Both break.
Not like into pieces and everything, but
Yeah.
you take an edge off it. Smashes. Why you do that? Get out! Get out! She races over and she picks it up. She bursts into tears.
That woman is poison.
It's you, Diego. I haven't seen you, and now you're breaking my things. Get out, Diego. Get out. Good old Milady de Winter sowing discourse wherever she goes.
Yeah.
No, saying not discourse. That's just talking. But you know.
Yeah. Diego goes outside. He likes to go himself down.
The days pass, and your mother's funeral comes around. You have not seen very much of Danilo, and you've seen not very much of your father, though every so often you catch a lingering smell of Milady de Winter around and about the house. You made it very
My
clear.
skin crawls.
You made it very
My skin
clear
crawls.
to the people, to the to the servants of the house, but they also, in quite pained tones, make it very clear that the leader of the Darkblade family has said that she's allowed, and they can't gainsay your father's words. You may be count in your county, but here you are a son to your father.
Would I be under the impression that Danolo's rage was that both mine and Danolo's rage were quite shared?
There is possible, you think there's probable overlap. In moments, Danilo will express great frustration that essentially his spies have almost been picked off and let go
Yeah.
by your father, but your father's never been that sharp a cookie in that way.
Yeah.
Your mother's will dictates that there'll be 2 funerals. The first is at the shrine of Eldath, the Lady of Peace. A minor deity, I guess, dedicated to no war, peaceful resolution, a pacifist. It's supposed to be for a close family. There's a massive row beforehand. She is not welcome, and I swear by all that is true and holy, if she comes, then I will take your life. You hear Danilo shout at your father. Milady de Winter is not in attendance at the funeral in Eldath. It is yourself, Danilo.
Was I present in that argument?
Everybody within the Sea Ward of Waterdeep was present
was
in that
present.
argument.
I would probably think that, like, being there, Danilo obviously having, Diego having his gripe about like, going between them. You will not kill my father, uncle. But father, if I see her at the funeral, I will kill her.
He is sheepish. Yeah, you feel that Danilo's position carried the weight of magic behind it in some way. And he can't. He bristles, absolutely radiates fury. It is almost palpable, kind of coming off him. It's almost distorting his shape a little in terms of kind of, the pent up, deep-seated, primal rage.
He's turned red, the steam coming out of his eyes, his hair is...
No, he looks. He's not getting. It's not like that. It's almost an emotional radiation. It's like his shark eyes are even more shark, and his teeth are sharpened. But he doesn't take it out on random people. If a servant makes a mistake, he doesn't lash out at them. He's keeping this. He's keeping it back.
Yeah.
And it is just close family, really, that go to the service at Eldath. And it's a lovely glade. There's an oak tree there, Eldath being a child of Sylvanas, and a lovely, clear, still pool of water from which there's just a smell, a calming influence. It brings easily to mind all of the kind of memories, the precious memories that you had of your mother. And you let go a little bit of all that tension. There are situations to manage, fine. But this is a life that you want to celebrate, and this space allows you and it calms you. And you see some of that tension flow out of Danilo as well. And you kind of are brought to mind Tef, who has arrived the night before. And she's there with you. She didn't know your mum particularly well, but she's there to try to lend strength. And it occurs to you that at some point, Tef is going to be a mother with children that are mourning her.
That's still not sunk in for Diego at this point. That's still not sunk in.
Danilo steps forward. He speaks in tender tones, more tender than you would give him credit for. I knew that there's a rift between us, and I never had the moral courage to reach out and to heal that rift. I admired her. I admired her greatly. How she sacrificed herself for her family. And her commitment to the Darkblade name. It's deeper than any of ours. But overlooked perhaps because she was a woman and we just thought she was doing her duty. Children never really know who their parents were before they became parents. They never understand or see or sense that there was a life before that got changed. And they see the mother, whereas I always saw the person of which motherhood was a part. She will have gone to a beautiful place. She will have gone to Mount Celestia, I'm sure. And she'll be a pool like this one, reflecting, I am certain. Your father says some words, they're pithy. There's no great insight or emotion demonstrated. The cleric of Eldath, who's been facilitating the service, calls upon anybody else who wishes to speak. She looks across to you, Diego, give you the option.
Oh, God. God, I never expect I'm even doing a fucking eulogy.
Well, it is your mother.
Oh, jeez.
It's hard to speak at a time like this, the priestess says. There's no shame in keeping your thoughts to yourself. Eldest son.
Diego's stoic, but like silent, like. I presume, like, Diego's sister's probably in a flood of tears because I get the impression that she's as pithy as his father.
Yeah, she's by her father's side.
Yeah.
You really did freak her. I gave her a roll to see how she would respond, and she kind of like responded badly.
Yeah.
Also, she might be ensorcelled. Who knows?
Yeah. He reaches for her hand as she's crying. Whether she like reaches away or not is irrelevant because Diego does not let go.
She'll take your hand.
Yeah. We see out the rest of the service.
As you're leaving, within the Shrine of Eldath, there are a number of young children, maybe age 5 or 6, nothing much more than that. And then they can come over with flowers, quite lovely flowers, and they're all in like lovely lace dresses and such like. I'm gonna wait for Josh. Can you hear us, Josh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I wanted to. And they kind of presenting the flowers to you, to your dad, to your sister, and so on. It's like a flower girl. And as soon as the little flower girl kind of like approaches Danilo, she immediately drops the flowers, weeds herself, and starts to shake. And she says, No, stay your sword from my breast. Do not raise me with my winged body from this life of bondage. No, creature, no fearful creature, no awesome creature. Kind of like Danilo sees the distress that he's causing her and kind of like moves on, and the priestess comes in and kind of tries to soothe her, but she's crying and is completely inconsolable. Stay his sword from my breast. Do not raise me up in his winged body from this life of bondage. A creature of awe, a creature.
I imagine like Danolo's response would just be bar humbug.
Danilo is hard to read actually. You can make an insight roll if you want.
Yeah, sure. That's not a great roll either. Yeah, that is that's a 9.
He is moving away fairly quickly, whether that's because he doesn't want to see the distress or he's just a little bit fed up with the whole situation. It's quite hard for you to kind of tell. As you're leaving, the priestess, who's kind of like trying to calm the child, says, "I'm sorry for that scene, adding distress. These are the touched of Eldath. They are highly sensitive and attuned individuals in the care of our shrine. They will never be able to live out their lives in the main world, for they see so much beyond the veil."
I feel like at this point Diego would not be surprised slightest,
Yeah, okay.
given his uncle.
Or uncle, as we may now start referring to him.
The immortal demon lich whose phylactery is the dark blade bloodline.
But he's still family. He's still
Okay.
I would not put that past him at all, considering how like the continuation of the line and making sure everything's hunky-dory with the Darkblade family.
I mean, okay, if anybody guesses who or what Danilo Darkblade is, then I will give them 10 English pounds. That offer is also open to our viewers. But just like faxing me over a dictionary and saying it's one of these things is not going to work. Okay. So the only other kind of area of business in Waterdeep for Diego is the Lord's Alliance meeting, which is kind of a place for you to kind of do trade and whatnot. This is held in the Palace of Waterdeep. Yeah, it's big news. And you're told to dress in your finery. Dress to impress.
Black leathers.
Yep.
I was not wearing the cape of the Monty Bank for the funeral, but I certainly am now.
Yep, okay. Danilo is going to attend as well.
Of course he's got rank in the Lord's Alliance. Of course he has.
Well, he possibly doesn't, but he's attending anyway. And it's kind of like the closing session or sessions of essentially a larger summit. There've been various things kind of thrashed out, and present there are a number of ambassadors or key officers from all the signatories of the Lord's Alliance. And there's 2 topics of discussion in this session. The first topic of discussion is the upcoming strategy to secure strategic resources. And there's been a lot of grunt work already been done, and this is essentially a sign-off meeting, and they're also distributing up kind of rights to grain and the kind of staples of the north and so on and so forth. One of the topics that gets raised is a strategic resource, the Omladrin gems that are within the county of Circazar, and as a ranking member of the Lord's Alliance and a very welcome kind of officer within the Lord's Alliance, they would like commitment from you that there would be a tithe or a submission of Amladrin gems to support the goals of the Lord's Alliance from when you establish an operation to recover them, as we have no doubt that you would be intending to do, given their value.
Completely possible. Trade routes have already been set up.
Excellent. Of course, they will pay. We will pay good consideration for this, and then we'll get our people to talk to your people to cover the detail of that.
My people, your people.
Your people is basically Chancellor Praxin. So you know those negotiations are going to move at let's call it a Brexit pace.
You think they're going to end and then they extend the deadline?
Praxin calls a vote of no confidence in himself, passes it, remains in government. Nobody's quite sure how it fucking happens. Anyway, let's hope that didn't cost us any viewers. Okay, and the next topic of discussion is related, which is the sensible expansion of the Lord's Alliance, and the expansions that serve the Alliance's best interests. And we consider Circus a strong candidate to join the Lord's Alliance, based upon 4 factors. The first factor is proximity to Kalimshan, therefore a good point of entry for that emerging market for goods from the Lord's Alliance. We believe that it will allow us to avoid the quite substantial duties that have been imposed, and also piracy in the Nalantha Isles, which is at a record low but is assumed to be increasing, and I understand that is the case representative from Waterdeep, or one of the Waterdeepian representatives, and a figure who has been lurking kind of at the back with her hood up takes her hood down and leans forward, and you see the lovely face of Milady de Winter. Yes, though it's been thwarted somewhat in the past, but we have plans to ensure that the Duke of Velen is removed and a less effective commander put in place, which would drive piracy in the Nalantha Isles, and such it would be sensible to look to move goods through the county of Saradouche. The Count of Saradouche himself, Diego.
There's no need to topple the Count of Velen.
The Duke of Velen.
The Duke of Velen, sorry.
Well, there is one other option that I could present, and I'm so pleased to see the Count here, because I think that there is a way in which we can help. If I was to, and please everybody, esteemed members, just bear me out on this one. If I was to become Diego's representative to the Royal Court of Tithia, I think that I would have a substantial influence to be able to aid the Lord's Alliance's interests in the south, in that particular area.
I already have representatives within the court.
I think that I could gain the Queen's favour very quickly. I could pave the way by returning the missing crown jewels of Tethia. I have endeavoured to put a vast amount of my own personal resources into the recovery of. The Lord Alliance members say, it was quite an embarrassment. It was quite an embarrassment that she was not able to attend the wedding of Diego Darkblade with them. How did you come by these? And she just smiles and she says, well, it's a funny story actually. I was given them as a birthday present by some Eladrin who said that they just, I don't know, fell into their arms.
What's Danola's reaction to her being there?
Impassive.
Yeah.
Completely imperceptible. Make an insight roll if you want to check that out.
No.
Okay.
Very low.
We'll take this under consideration. It would be quite an interesting fact, but let's just park that. Milady de Winter. Let's leave that there. The other advantages, of course, is proximity to Arm, and therefore the ability to sell the Lord's Alliance goods into Arm as well, again without duties or logistical challenges and so on. It would allow us to have an operating base to uncover commercial secrets of those nations. We would be able to operate from there, and we would be able to aid with the founding, operating a base to mine the Omladrin gems at an industrial level. Saradush is able to make its own laws and has rights of taxation, and therefore we would be able to have beneficial rates granted to us over and above our competitors through the county, and we wouldn't have to engage with the Kingdom of Tethir, which has a weak monarchy and very little central control, such that essentially we would have to engage with 15 or 16 independent states. So, Count, what say you in terms of a proposal that you join the Lord's Alliance?
I personally have no objections with Tethia joining the Lord's Alliance. However, I do have objections to the use of Milady de Winter within the court and even the country as a whole.
And what is the nature of these objections? Milady de Winter.
I basically said the same. In fact, no.
I think it's because I'm fucking his dad. And everybody kind of like... there's a few gaps, but there's more chuckles. I think this is a personal matter that the Count can't quite see past. Now, lords, ladies, you all know me. You know that underneath this lovely looking package I am perhaps a little coarse. But you also know that I always put personal matters to one side when it comes to the business of the Lord's Alliance, to which I am entirely committed. It is a shame. It is a shame that
she's got to clearly be taking a lot of pleasure from this.
Yeah, she's loving it. It is a shame that the Count of Circazar has not got the Lord's interests at heart.
If Darion or Ox was there, would have just cut her head off.
Like, you and not me, because Darion's oath would have been broken.
Yeah.
At this point, I think.
You, madam, and like the tension, like if there would be a hallway of tension, like Lord's Alliance members on this side, Danilo behind Diego, and just like Diego's like a fucking laser beam at this woman. And he says, "You, madam, are a snake. You are poison. All that you touch in this land becomes a plague upon this land. Before my days are done, I will be the cure that will smite you down like a paladin's sword. You have no interest but of your own. You are not welcome in Tethia, and you are certainly not welcome in Circazar, and you are not welcome in my house."
Your father's house. And I think you'll find that I am very welcome there. And there's a few titters from the drama queens of the Lord's Alliance senior membership. And she is loving it. You can almost see her feeding a little bit on the energies.
Yeah, Diego's seething. Yeah.
Darion, you're just like laying, kind of like doing some business, and you're the kind of the mask is kind of like glowing slightly, just chuckling away to itself. One of the representatives, this is not business, he says. This is feud. It's not welcome in this meeting. I say we adjourn and we will reconvene back when tempers have calmed a little. Let us do that in the summer. We will reconvene in the palace in the summer. Danilo puts his hand on your shoulder. Come, nephew. as you kind of like walk in, you hear Milady de Winter say, "I did say he was an unstable personality. Perhaps we should think, is he suitable for the position?"
I'm already in that position. Go fuck yourself.
You turn and
Let's
say
let it go.
as you leave. Denolo says, "Counts can be unmade as quickly as they can be made. Let us be careful." And that's that. So we'll leave that there.
Just before we do, like as we exit the castle, Diego turns to Danolos. I have no disbelief that bitch is had a hand in the death of my mother. I've no doubt she'll continue to be a thorn in the side of our family. Where do we start? And
To be continued.
This is like the perfect path of Diego becoming Danilo.
I know.
Like,
I know.
that's the first step.
I was actually. Do you know what? After at the end of this, you should tag team your like downtime actions to do it.
Denolo says there is always a master and an apprentice.
Brilliant.
And we'll leave it there. I think is where we'll leave it. Anyway, I almost said too much. That was good. I enjoyed that. That was good.
That's good.
That was good. So
that was restrained, is what I will say too.
it was deep.
That was very restrained.
That was Diego angry. You've seen Dwarf angry. This is Diego angry.
Okay.
Rage.
Okay. Yeah, well, you're going to go.
I'm going to take that moment to have a quick break, make a cup of tea.
Yeah. Shall we all take 5? So back at past.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, that was so good, that bit.
Oh my god.
I've got some really good theories though.
About Danilo.
I think he's an anti-hero.
Do you think he traded the light in his eyes?
You mean he's been blind the entire time?
Or
Yeah.
do you think he traded the thing that the Fae were wanting of Darion?
That's very possible. But you know these Eladrin gems, weren't we meant to get them for the Queen of Finn, not the Lord's Alliance?
Literally, there's been 3 side quests directing us to them now.
The Lord's Alliance seem to be trying to dismantle the Queen's power, by the sound of it.
Oh.
Yeah, there could very well be a moment in which, Diego disbands from the Lord's Alliance and becomes a Harper or something.
You should become a super mega murderer and kill Lady de Winter.
I've been planning that for a long time. It involves caping onto a roof. Except she doesn't land on the roof. And she plummets to her death.
The worrying thing is she's outplaying Danilo.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you guys need to tag team your downtime action. Do you think hiring her was good? Because then you'd have her close and then be able to get her at just the right moment.
Yeah, but my concern is her and being their Tef.
Hmm.
And the Queen, and the Praxin, and everyone.
Also, it would be very.
It would end with a Praxin marrying her.
No, another edition of the book has to come out before. Another edition of D&D has to come out.
I thought of an idea for you, Darion. When you have to give the Queen and the Masquerade some. You should promise her your greatest strength and then write an autobiography called My Greatest Strength. You need to fool her. And so essentially you're giving her just a book, It's the trick, a play on words. You need to trick the fae.
The worse it's gonna be. So I think I'm not even sure if I'm ever gonna contact her again. Like we're ants right now, and I don't want to like bite the giant.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think Danilo is then? Is he like a super mega death lich?
No, I think he's human.
You think he's human?
I did wonder if he was undead of some sort.
Well, that little girl said she saw some demony thing, right?
Yeah, but that could be De Winter trying to poison you against him.
Okay. How are you feeling, Ben?
I'm not sure if they're like a bit like Martin last session.
I was just gonna say.
Good to know. Good to know. So what? I've only got get Josh, and I've got the collection.
Yeah.
Okay. Objective for the next session.
Yeah.
So, who are you leaving in charge of the Dragonborn in Tamahub when you are wandering the highways and byways of Saradush, Sigzar, Ox?
Who am I leaving in charge behind?
Yeah.
It depends where I'm going.
So, in your downtime actions, you were kind of like wandering with Sulan, weren't you?
Yeah. So, Grax, the leader of the Green Dragonborn.
Yeah. Okay.
He's kind of like a lieutenant.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm kind of... Ox doesn't have like it's like he's been in battles before, but it's almost a bit like post-traumatic stress, where he's kind of avoiding anyone who kind of had to do much with the battle. So that's why Sulan wasn't there, Grax wasn't there, kind of leaning on them a bit more.
Yeah. Okay. Just fact check, so we don't have any kind of like fake news out there. People who are suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder tend to kind of want to have people who were there because they're the only people who know. No, well, that's just actually the truth of PTSD. You can seek out people that weren't there as a distraction if you want.
Yep.
I'm just reading a book on trauma and how it shapes you at the moment. So that I can understand the pressures I'm causing you guys.
So I can
Understands mine's reaction.
I think we should have finished on Diego because that would have been fantastic. Anyway, yep. Okay, so Greg's is in charge. Okay, cool, good stuff. All right, so let's have a little butchers at this. So you're looking for kobolds, you say? Mm-hmm. Okay. And remind me how you're looking to find out where they are.
My older brother Rygeth is a bit of a barbarian, kind of more knowledgeable.
Bit of a barbarian, more classed into sage.
He's kind of more of like he knows like the wilds. He's good at tracking that kind of going out into the forest, the mountains. We're kind of going to like the wildlands, trying to find.
Okay. So he heads off,
and we're asking around. You know, like villages and.
There's no real monstrous activity in the Kingdom of Tethia, and hasn't been for centuries, actually.
We might have to fly further afield.
Grax will not Grax. Rygeth first heads off to the Ladrin Mountains, where he thinks that there's likely to be stuff there. He comes back with stories of no kobolds, but powerful ogres that ride wyverns, and there's almost like a mini kind of like mini ogre nation there, and they're sharper than your average bear. And in fact, sharper intelligence-wise, not like as in pencil sharpener, than your average ogre. And they have tamed wyverns, and they have tamed displacer beasts, and they're quite a force within the Bladrin Mountains. Particularly in the places you realise where there are rumours of Bladrin gems. So any attempt to kind of mine those gems is likely to entangle yourself with some difficulties there.
Hmm.
Yeah,
But no kobolds.
I was
Yeah.
keen to fight them until you said wyvern.
I was just thinking, what would be cool? Like ogres riding wyverns.
Yeah. They're
I mean,
big wyverns.
yeah, think on that. The magic of the Umladrin gems is possibly warping. Some of the that. Anyway, that's for another session.
That's just the theory.
Yes. So then he kind of ranges a little bit more into the forest, but doesn't kind of find anything koboldy there. And towards the early part of summer, he kind of comes back, and he has got a lead, but it's in the deserts of Kalim Shan. Just to the south of Tethia. Well, it's like Badlands, I guess, rather than like Saharan desert of Kalim Shan. To the south, where he believes there are kobolds in the service of a blue dragon. The blue dragon's called Lenithon. Lenithon.
Is there any kind of information about this blue dragon that any one of them knows about?
The classic blue dragon, kind of like
Evil.
blue dragon. Yeah, chromatic.
A
But-
mafia boss, kind of.
But the kobold tribe kind of like worship the dragon. And Resmir actually will say one of the difficulties is that the kobolds revere dragonkind almost as if they are gods. How are we going to transfer from that emotional reverence that has been there for generations? They see that it's dragons that keep them safe, even though they are possibly the dragons that are harming them the most.
We'll be the dragon to them. That's the intention. We will keep them safe. We will not have them in servitude.
They are creatures, though, that enjoy servitude, that thrive in that way.
They do not enjoy fighting, though. But we will, so we will not require them to fight. We will use them for skills they're better suited. And if servitude is what they desire, then we'll have them worship us and bow them up. The greatest of dragons.
Bear trap sweatshop.
Great idea.
Basically, yeah.
I'm
Basically,
writing
yeah.
that down.
This is how the Dragonborn are going to win hearts and minds. Sell really cheap trainers and electronics goods to the West. And what are our intentions towards Lenithon? Are we going to parley? Are we going to conquer?
We should perhaps try to parley first.
Perhaps an alliance.
Depends on Lenithon's intention. Blue dragons aren't the most trustworthy.
This is true. I guess no dragon is particularly trustworthy.
Just tell the kobolds you got a much cooler and much more golden dragon that lives close to you.
They're not that keen on the metallic ones, as far as I'm aware.
Kobolds are fickle.
And they've never tried it, surely. In their lifetimes, anyway.
Offer them cake, it'll be fine.
What could possibly go wrong?
This is a Dr. Pepper commercial ready to happen.
Kobolds, what's the worst that can happen?
So
Diego comes back to find a city destroyed by kobolds. Ox is like, yeah, my bad.
Yeah, sorry about that. So what would we be taking to Lenithon?
An axe to the head would probably be the best solution. We can't part with any treasure. We're running low on it as it stands.
I know that blue dragons covet gems.
Gems.
Of the Adladrin
Yes.
kind.
We could promise some gems.
Yeah, if this dragon
We do
was
not require all his or her kobolds. Is it Lenithon a male or female dragon?
male by that name.
So you can't smash.
Yeah, we don't require all his kobolds. Although
I
suppose you could smash.
I would prefer to see them all. Perhaps some of our portion of Elargian gems we could promise to Lenithon, and if not, we may have to resort to killing him. But then we'd have to resort to killing all the kobolds.
so out of character.
Yeah.
You've also promised them to the king, Queen of Tethys. You've promised them to Gorlak Anther.
I forgot I promised them to her as well.
Yeah, and Diego is about to promise them to the Lord's Alliance.
How many gems are there?
I don't think I promised
They're
them
very
to anyone.
rare.
They're very rare. I don't think I promised them to anyone. I was just told by 2 different places to get them.
Well, you don't know about Diego promising to the Lord's Alliance.
No, I don't. No.
And I guess technically they may not even be yours to promise to anybody, but let's not stop that. Let's not stop Ox.
We could just bluff. Deception.
I
We didn't find any.
Ox is a member of the Lord's Alliance.
What? Sorry?
I just want to point out, Ox is a member of the Lord's Alliance.
Yeah, but I'm a very low level member. I cleaned a few horses for the Lord's Alliance once.
Yeah. He tied my shoelaces.
You should. Oh man.
I
If
knocked
you
down
had
a few
dra-
stables.
If you had that Dragonbane weapon, you could make short work of a lot of dragons.
You don't have Dragonbane weapon anymore, do you?
No.
You should have taken it as your magic item.
Yeah, but I'm supposed to be rescuing dragons, not murdering.
I mean, I'm supposed to be rescuing people, but it involves murdering a lot of other people.
That sounds like a slippery slope right there.
Yeah. This difficult decision. Is it in? So it's in Callumsham.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna have to cross the border to get there anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to take a small group, so we won't get noticed.
Yeah, because otherwise you'd have to take the invade downtime action and you already used all yours.
Yeah. That really want to invade.
Ask permission.
Yeah.
Get support for the dragon murder.
What, from Callumsham? That'll go down well.
I mean, if they didn't like the dragon and it was causing a lot of trouble, perhaps the Eternal Alpha Lizard could, oust the threat.
I'm thinking killing the dragon's probably the option, but then if we kill the dragon, the kobolds will hate us. Unless we can convince him.
You'd be like, dragon, check me out. Eternal Alpha Lizard. Way better than a dragon, clearly.
Yeah, and I think that's probably how they'd react quite well to that.
I mean, all of dragon kind know that he's the Eternal Alpha.
Yeah, they do actually. We're gonna have to go and talk to them first, I think. But be geared up just in case. Yeah, gear up so we look good.
What they immediately tell on you to Daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say Daddy. That doesn't sound good, does it?
Oh, we'll have to talk to the dragon as well. Can we offer him gem?
Steal 20 and start a breeding program.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll have to take a small group of us to go,
Okay.
and we'll try and gain an audience with Lenafon and the Kobold.
Yeah. Okay. And what is it that you're going to what is the strategy here? Resmir says.
Play up the Alpha Lizard reputation. The chosen by Bahamut say I require.
The Chromatics worship Tiamat.
Yeah, but all dragons of Bahamut.
All dragons know of Bahamut. Some consider him to the enemy.
Yeah. But say I require kobolds as I respect what they could offer to dragonkind. Yeah.
Do we have any gems that we could give as gifts?
I'll check. Where's my character? I'm sure I had some. I had bags of gold, black onyx gems, but they were.
They were smashed. Darion's bad, although he doesn't really
They were
apologize.
all smashed.
I mean, did they not smash when the cores of the golems broke?
No. He I think Ox was
Some
trying
others.
to half-inch a load, but I think you did break them. I think you did.
I'm sure I had something. I just can't remember. It might have just been them.
Sapphires would be ideal, Resmir says. I understand that the blues value blue gems above all things, considering their colour to be prime.
And where would we acquire sapphire?
I have a lot of faith in you, Ox, she says. I don't know why, it just feels that this is such a great endeavour. One that will be the most worthy thing that could ever happen in my lifetime. I think that you have craftsmen that could work gems well. Perhaps we create a statue of Lenithon in his honour and take it as a gift to him. And perhaps we play to his vanity and we say that we wish to join him rather than he join us.
That is an option. But I feel we'd get double crossed in the end.
I mean, was the intent not the same?
Says one of the more lawful good Dragonborn. The gold Dragonborn. Dariox.
Sorry,
Carry on.
It's a weird kind of like Diegox is also there. Diegox would be what? I don't know.
There'd be another black dragonborn
Yeah. It would
with
be black.
eyes that are black.
I'm not a black dragonborn, I'm a dark dragonborn.
And his breath weapon is intensity of finger pointing. Which will come across. It'll come across quite well on camera because it basically looks like this. I am going to fucking kill you, Milady de Winter.
I'm still seething.
I know, I would be too. I would have done something very bad and detrimental to the game by now.
Martin's still seething about last week, actually. 3 weeks ago. Not last week, 3 weeks ago.
I'm amazed he's not done something detrimental to the game.
What nobody knows is Martin drove down to my house, a trip of about 400 miles, burned all my Dungeons and Dragons books that said run a campaign now, you fuckhead. D&D Beyond, Martin, is the way forward. Also, I'm not paying petrol money to get you back home. I can't remember what we're doing now. Is it, are you waiting for me? Is this like a board game where it's my turn?
Joining them.
Thinking about how the best way do we...
Or position him such that our endeavour cannot... perhaps Resmir says, perhaps we say we need to have the chromatic dragons alongside, and we have selected him as the most powerful and wise of the chromatic dragons to become the first. An alliance where he's the ambassador to the chromatic dragons.
Mm-hmm.
And we offer this value to him, and that his kobolds can join with us. But perhaps this dilutes your purpose a little.
My what? Sorry, you cut out.
Your purpose a little. Perhaps it dilutes your purpose a little to emancipate the kobolds.
Well, our goal is to create a home for the Dragonborn.
Not for
And our heritage, our ancestry is the chromatic dragon. I mean, look at us. Look at what we've built.
Dariox is like, fuck off, chromatic and metallic boys. It's like bling. All the single ladies.
Was perhaps where it's not dragon kind?
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to help out the kobolds. The weakest of dragon kind. Of all dragon kind.
That would be baby kobolds.
Yeah.
Kobolds.
He's just a baby kobold.
Yeah, the risk is allying with a dragon of this type. Well, luckily it's not local, but it's
local as the dragonflies.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it risks alienating and ruining all our efforts to mingle with the communities.
Get him a sick crib in the Adladrin Mountains.
But he would be a powerful ally.
For the wrong reasons.
What is your intention with chromatics? In any case, then, no, do we fight them? Do we remain neutral?
I try to remain neutral, possible. I'm not a gold dragon born myself, and we've seen chromatic, metallic. I've had troubles with, the gold ones before, but not always just as they say they are.
True.
A covetous gold dragon and a covetous blue dragon is still a covetous dragon.
I think it's important to remember, like, for lore and dragonborns, they were essentially enslaved by dragons, weren't they?
I don't know. I think there's a few different.
Is it the second Sundering that?
Yeah.
This is going deep lore now.
No, yeah. That's one of the things that Bahamut is trying to establish, isn't it? Is the Dragonborn as a race of their own, within his family, separate from, but of the kin of. I just got off the phone from him, and that's exactly what he told me. I think that if we go and seek a creature of this nature without an understanding of what it is that we're going there for, or what we're bringing, then we could potentially come unstuck. And we will have drawn attention to ourselves. And then we may be forced into a fight. And maybe a fight is what we will end up.
I don't think Sergazar's ready for the wrath of a blue dragon quite yet.
I agree.
How old is he, out of interest? Like, rumours of his age?
Oh, he's huge in size. So, do you think that is towards the older end?
I was waiting for him to die.
And what is it that we intend to do with these kobolds? They breed like kobolds. Are we going to put them to work? Are they going to be loyal to us? How will we maintain their loyalty?
Through kindness more than anything. Making them feel equal to us. We have one other option for this role. Maybe it's a more temporary solution. But we need spies out. You know, I fully trust Diego, Danilo, and Darion. God, I offer him D. I fully trust their spies within the cities, within politics. But
Whoa! Darion doesn't have spies.
Harper's.
I mean, they're just very good gossipers.
So is Dariox.
We need to have creatures out in the forests, in the mountains, who are capable of sensing magic, who can find, these bear knights are appearing, living out beyond the normal sites of city guards, of trade circles. Our other option is the gnomes. Bring them in, give them a home.
That feels like we would be turning our back on those that have the greatest. Those that have the greatest resemblance. Their own creation myth, the Kobold creation myth, is that they are descended from dragons.
But they believe themselves created by Tiamat. We have to convince them otherwise. Sorry, he's going to say something.
It was a gnome deity that screwed over.
It was called Glitgold.
Yeah.
Yes, I can't have both.
Recruit the half orcs and have an unstoppable army.
There's one thing we need to get around to doing, actually, is
Unstoppable, but not able to get on the same buses as everybody else into the the deeply racist nature of the most of the population.
Yeah, we either need to side with this dragon. We ain't gonna be able to kill him. Yet. Not level 20 yet.
I think more so if you kill him, then you lay out your position to all chromatics.
Yeah.
And it'll be hard to. It'll be. Diego's like.
You'll be hunted by all chromatic dragons.
Would it not be more in keeping with Bahamut's teachings to at least offer and to encourage him to come to our side?
We should speak with him.
And do we seek that he joins us, or that he, as I suggested, maybe becomes the ambassador to the chromatics, or some other position?
We seek a mutual relationship.
And what does he gain from this?
Hopefully, sapphires. He gains. He gains the gravitas of being the first chromatic to join that corps.
That would perhaps appeal to his vanity.
Are there any rumours of locals having problems with, the humans of settlements? Is he an active force in the area, or is he quite?
Not especially rumours from that you're privy to. No, there's nobody going, damn, dragon attacks, we need to sort that out.
Yeah.
But would they touch you guys? And also he is to the south, so it could quite possibly be that it's more the people of Kalimshan. Okay. I will undertake to bring sufficient sapphires that we can make a statue or a statuette of him.
Mm-hmm.
If you can have your craftsmen ready,
Get our best dragonborn on it.
Yeah, okay. And she does rustle up sapphires of reasonable quality. So give me a d20 roll to see what your best man does on this.
Use inspiration. It's not your inspiration though.
14.
Yeah, okay, and it'd be like an 18 with plus 4 plus. So that's probably about a 20 or 22 with right tools and such like. So it's a pretty good-looking statuette of a blue dragon. It's a bit generic, but it's got the details right. There's enough blue dragonborn around in your group that can kind of like provide you with the stuff, and it looks pretty good. How many people are you going to invade Kalimshan with?
I think 6 of us, and we should bring some blue dragonborn.
Yeah, okay.
2 blues,
blocks and
blocks and blacks,
Blocks
and Blarion.
Blocks and Blarion. Bliego and Blarion go down with you.
And then Ox, Sulan, Oxen, Bloxbury. I'll take Resmir and Rygath has to go. He's the one who found out it was.
Yeah. Okay, so Rygath will kind of path find. What was it? Travel by night, sleep by day job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
You guys can't see in the dark, can you?
Nope.
yeah, but it's not like underground dark.
Yeah.
So you'll go when the moon is up and stuff like that. Best to do these endeavours under the face of Saloon than under the face of Shah, you reckon? Shah, the goddess of darkness and secrets that fester and take over the hearts of men. Elves, dwarves, halflings, gnomes, dragonborn, tieflings. So you cross the border, you head down there, you kind of travel in light, and so on and so forth. Rygath takes you into the Badlands. So think of the Nevada desert style. Kind of that windswept rocks, pillars, and the striate stuff, and the gullies that you go down that are quite parched and such like. And there's it's quite easy to see actually where Rygath thinks the lair is, and this is okay of it. There are just thunderclouds that are smashing against each other around this particular area. Lightning is kind of coming down and so on. So clearly the dragon is of sufficient power to have influenced the atmospheres around it, which kind of ties you into the fact that it is of a particular size and particular age. There are kind of air elementals and lightning methods kind of that you manage to avoid. You have a few combats, a few skirmishes with some of them, but the group manages to kind of you fairly easily vanquish those. And then you kind of have the first signs of the kobolds, a little bit like Jawas. And they scuttle in and around the kind of like the gullies kind of thing. They don't quite engage. There's a few kind of exchanges of arrow fire and so on. You see some of the Urds, the winged kobolds, kind of avoiding the thunder and so on. What's your intention as you start to
carrying a cake?
Yeah. What's your intention as you get closer to the lair?
We kind of want to make it obvious that we come in peace. We come to discuss, and we'll kind of march carrying this statue between us all. It's almost like an irreverent, like you would on almost on a pilgrimage, like where you'd walk in reverence carrying this statue.
Yeah. Okay.
We're not like hiding.
Have you seen the Doctor Strange movie where he's like, "I've come to bargain"?
You're there for a number of days and nights out in the desert. Water is quite hard to find. Fortunately, Rygath is not quite Adran, but he's got an all right enough survival check, and he kind of manages to get you enough. You don't have to resort to opening a can of purified paladin's piss. So you're kind of all right at the moment.
Yeah.
You've got them.
Can't quite sell it to everyone else. No, honestly, it's fine.
And look, yeah. I used to live on this stuff back in my Chiltern days.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ox, you got 3 heads, mate. It's not really worked. And then there's this almighty thunderstorm that the winds and the sand is kind of against your scales and it's scarring them and kind of like sandblasting them essentially, so they're like really smooth down one side as you're faced off into this land. And then this huge blue kind of comes swirling out of the sand, lands in front of you, kind of cranes its neck, its horn kind of off. You kind of know what a blue looks like, yeah?
Yeah.
It's kind of like wings arch up and it's got its yellow crest as it comes up. It kind of... I know of you. I know of you. I have heard of your name and seen your visage. You're the one that they call Neurixius. Neurixius Doxar. The eternal dragon. The alpha lizard. The eternal alpha lizard. Chosen of Bahamut. Know that I am Lenithon. Son of Denethon. Son of Kennethon. Son of Benethon.
So we'll all kind of kneel, apart from Sulan, who will kind of be like this, like, Ox, the eternal alpha lizard seeks audience with the great Lenithon. And then we'll all stand.
Do you list off his titles as well?
Yeah, we'll like list off all my titles, then it seeks audience with the great Lenithon.
Oh, and the dragon's titles too.
Yeah.
It's hard to see kind of what his response to all of that is, but it's not eating you yet. So there is that. Let's get a sense of sense of scale here. So this is kind of like you. Mm-hmm. Okay. This is a Minecraft figure wearing an Enderman hat. Yeah. Okay. This is Lenithon.
Yeah. Massive.
Yeah.
And Swedish.
Yeah, clearly. And also
No, that's
penguin.
the blue and yellow. Gee.
Oh, yeah.
Get weird.
So all blue dragons are Swedish. All right, that's the accent. Go, Paul, go.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not going to do that. Why do you seek audience with me? He says in a Swedish accent.
So now Sulan will kind of step back and then Ox will step forward.
Is that chalk ice?
It's a chocolate ice and a wafer.
Wow.
The kind of shit you should be pulling at 7 minutes past 11 on a Friday.
Yeah,
That's what I say.
I seek the assistance of the great Lenithon. I am Ox, chosen of Balmwood, but we, the Dragonborn, are not too proud to admit we would require the greatness of the greatest of chromatic dragons on our side. We come here to offer and to ask for assistance and to give in return the notoriety to you first of all the great chromatic of becoming part of this quest.
Greatest.
You speak wise. You speak wise, Ox, little creature that you are. And what is it what is this endeavour?
I endeavour to create a home for the Dragonborn, for the smallest dragon kind.
I see that you have got blues amongst your number. Little children that they are.
As you can see, we take no creed of colour. We value all.
And there is the floor, I guess. You value all. But I suspect then that the blues are the mightiest amongst your number.
The Blues are some of our greatest fighters, of course.
Now that
Darion and Bliego here.
they have positions of great leadership to demonstrate their prowess. They're like carrying mop and bucket.
Yeah.
Now we go and fucking sort out.
Yeah. Well, we require your wisdom, your knowledge to further the Blue Dragon Bonds cause amongst our own. The Blue Dragons should be represented powerfully amongst our future.
And what is this? This that I see, this sparkly, entrancing thing.
This is a gift we bring to you.
And he opens up his kind of like paw, and it looks like tiny, tiny there. You have caught my best side. And he holds it up. And the clouds clear a little bit. A ray of sunlight comes down and it dazzles off. So you need me to further the blues amongst your number. And I am the first of the chromatics that you have come to ask.
You are the first.
You are indeed wise. Not the reds.
No.
Tricksy reds. Or those idiots, the whites. Or those cabbage yakking bumpkins, the green. Or those snake-like acidic blacks. No offence.
I'm taken.
To the mighty, crackling power of the blue. And you came to me, Lenithon, son of Denethon, son of Kenethon, son of Benethon, son of Enthon. I don't know. I'll have to edit in the actual names. And it wasn't because I'm the nearest dragon that you just found.
No, that would be unwise.
You were right, it would be. For I would see through that ruse. And I would snap you up. As soon as I could eat a paladin. But I have been tricked. Or attempted to be tricked before by people of your kind and your little minds. What is that I actually have to do to further the blues?
The good news for you, it requires you to do very little for gain.
Speak on, little man.
I see you have many
Swamp dweller.
dedicated followers here, the Kobolds, our smallest cousin.
Ah, my little cobby, my little Kobolds. What of them? Going around, scuttling, scratching me in places that I just can't be bothered to scratch. Like three of them appear from behind his ear. Big scratches.
I appreciate they have skills some of us do not. You know, again, we are none too proud to admit. We seek your wisdom, we seek their cunning, we seek the kobolds to become our eyes and ears out in the mountains, the forest, and I'm not asking you to give them to me, but lend them.
Rent them out.
As you know, they're very astute at finding magical items.
And where there has been one little sapphire statuette, there are many. Let us make this arrangement. Make me a perception check.
A what, sorry?
Perception check.
I think I boosted my.
I feel like this is a skill we should heavily invest in all characters we make going forward.
That's part of the difficulty with D&D, I find.
18?
18, you say? Okay. It's almost like he's looking a little bit past you in the group. And he's kind of like listening to what you're saying. But he's not really focusing on you. And he's kind of like looking through. Yeah, that could just be at the blues at the back. You're not quite sure. But yeah, he nods. But it's almost like he's not nodding particularly to you. He's nodding further back in the group. And then he turns and speaks in Draconic. Do you understand Draconic?
Yes.
That's fortunate because that's what it's been talking all the way through.
Yeah.
So I assume that's what you were talking about. And he kind of shouts, Jeff, Chief of the Kobolds.
Jeff. Spelled G-E or J?
Pronounced Klaxmnugnaga.
Okay.
Draconic, of course.
Yeah, translates into the common as Jeff.
Jeff.
He's your dad now, and you and the tribe now serve these masters. Just make sure that they bring me statues every season as the season turns.
Oh, you've got sorts of statue.
We will do our best, and we will spread. When we further our cause, it will always be known that the Kobolds were of Lenethon, the first, the greatest.
Wise. Now be gone before I change my mind.
We'll all bow and head off.
Yeah.
That's great.
How many Kobolds are coming with us then?
Both of them.
Both. So,
Jeff.
level 20.
Yeah. Yeah.
2 level 20 Kobolds.
Jeff and Barry. Barry translates as Nick Flag King. Sometimes called Baza, which is Flag in Draconic.
I'll have Diego create him up a badge that says that. Praxin can write it up. It'll take
First
him
of his
years.
name.
There's about 40-ish kobolds in the tribe that are going to be coming along.
I assume he's not giving us all his kobolds, but like a good.
He's giving you a chunk of them.
Yeah.
Like a sub-tribe.
Yeah.
Style. You got a chieftain, you got a shaman style.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get to raise the taxes because there's more people.
40.
That's not so much of a raise of taxes as it. Let's get more coming in.
Yeah.
Are we charging them as well?
Do you know,
Okay.
one thing I'm thinking of doing is applying change law downtime actions, like all smuggling, doesn't matter what you're doing, all smuggling, death penalty.
I don't think Darren would be that harsh.
Like that, it's just
Even if you're smuggling in the dead?
if you're smuggling in anything.
Okay. Definitely that 100-point achievement is up for grabs, boys. That's all I'm saying. It's in play. Okay, I'm going to close that there. You managed to get back to Tahamub without any great incident. The kobolds are going to follow on, and they'll kind of come along. And clearly, Lenethon every 3 or 4 months expects some tribute.
Mm-hmm. Well, the kobolds. One of the tasks of the kobolds is to go out and find treasure because that's what they're quite good at. And so he will get a cut of pretty much everything they find.
Yeah, okay. He thinks he's going to get a 98.5% cut. Let's just call it 100. Let's round.
Yeah, I want the information more that they can provide.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Good stuff. Okay, well, that was fun, and that advances our timeline to the start of summer, 1491, I think. I can't recall. Mm-hmm. One of those years. Diego returns from Waterdeep. Not that impressed with life, perhaps. I don't know. Denola returns from Waterdeep. Clearly not that impressed with life.
Apprentice.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. So, right. Next session. So we will be continuing, probably back into a normal theme. We need to decide what we want to do, where you want to go. You got the Ladrin Mountains in play.
Yeah, I think that's probably the next.
You've got various kind of like Bay Knight threads that you could kind of follow. So a bit of direction. If you want to do Ladrin Mountains, that will take me a little bit of prep. Bay Knight similarly. So what do you think you want to kind of go and do?
I think I would very much like to take out an assassin's contract on
Winter.
Oh my god, you're turning our whole party evil, Paul. All of us.
I'm joking. I don't really know what to do yet, but I'm sure.
So it happens, Jeff is a level 18 assassin.
Those are kobold levels, which are about 1/20th of a human level.
Yeah, it's like dog years in reverse.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's level 18, but he's knocking on 95 years old. So
Yeah.
he's a bit. He's an Apraxin type.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So he could probably assassinate an ice age, but anything that moves quicker is he's going to get away. Let's face it. Okay, well, look, yeah. Okay, so next session is the 15th of February.
Yes.
Yep.
Everybody available?
Yeah.
That's
Good.
the last day of my hospital placement, but I should...
It's the last day of your hospital placement. Yeah, okay, cool. Good stuff. So everybody, thank you for our viewer that has remained throughout. I hope it isn't me. Who knows? And if you're watching this on the YouTubes, then thank you for watching. We are next back for this game on the 15th of February, as we've just described. It'll be about 8:30, and it'll be doing whatever we're choosing to do.
Main goal is to upset Josh.
Yeah. We'll be crushing the Dragonborn Empire. Possibly betraying all his values and principles, though it looks like he's doing a fair job at that at the moment.
I'm secretly creating an army to overthrow Diego.
Yep. But our next actual session on this channel is going to be on Tuesday the 5th at about 8:30, give or take. We'll be continuing with our Waterdeep game, which I'm deciding to name Not in Blue Alley, for fuck's sake. Because not in Blue Alley. But I think you've decided you're going to start to do some stuff around Troll School Manor.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Not Blue Alley Heist anymore.
No. We'll get the game going. So, usual stuff. You can see our website, mostly-offtopic.com. We are on Twitter at mostly-offtopic. Email mostly-offtopic@gmail.com. Facebook mostly-offtopic. YouTube mostly-offtopic. So basically just mostly-offtopic. I have had good fun. So tell me, Martin, was that all right?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
Did you enjoy playing or watching the most?
I don't know. I feel like the Beneath the Mask thing went totally not how I expected it to. So I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. But I really enjoyed the bit after it. And I did enjoy watching as well. Yeah.
I think what we've learned there is that Martin prefers to be involved, but he will watch if he can't get involved. Read into that whatever you want about his porn habits. And Ben, anything to say? I'm going to come back to you, Ben, actually, I think. So, Josh, anything to say?
Yeah, none of that went how I expected on any of us three ones, but I enjoyed all of them.
Good stuff. Excellent. So, Ben, I apologise to your beard, actually, for any
My
distress.
face is here.
I've accidentally caused it by the way in which you were giving it grief at points throughout.
Oh dear, that was.
Because Diego's going to be a dad. I think we've just lost.
I don't want that woman anywhere near me.
Well, Grandma de Winter.
Move forward to the wedding of De Winter and your father in the next summer.
Yeah.
The question is, somebody will probably be in attendance in the Crown Jewels of Tethia. It just won't be the Queen of Tethia. So I think we have lost Martin because he's either.
Yeah, it's probably frozen.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
I feel like she's manipulated the entire Lord's Alliance. This isn't the Lord's Alliance, Diego.
Yeah.
she's manipulating some of it, I guess. Yeah. Okay. So we have lost Martin, though he does tell us to soldier on, which we were doing. Okay. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.